Good morning. Let me fix this. Let me fix this camera. This is not right. Hold on one second. I don't want to seem like I'm looking up. There we go. I have two screens here. So good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Spiritual Warrior YouTube Live. We go live every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific. And we missed last week. All right. Welcome. Today, hi. Good morning. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Barbara. Oh, hi, Lori. Glad you're here. Hi, Barbara. So glad you all are here. Okay. So let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today is what is a spiritual warrior. So I'm going to give you a little background on what a spiritual warrior, why the term came to me. It's a really old term. It's not my term. It's ancient. It's been around forever. However, right before COVID hit, I've told this story before. Sorry, I'm trying to work out my camera. I've told this story before, but that right before COVID hit, I went to go visit my friend Christina Miglino in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And it was the October before COVID hit. And I'm very intuitive. I'm very psychic, just like you. We're all empaths. We're all tuned in. And when we quiet our minds and when we actually connect, we pretty much know what's going on. It's just getting past the perceptions of our mind and getting past the thinking of our mind and getting past did I actually just make that up thing that we do with our mind. So we went to New Mexico and we were doing some drumming. We were doing some shamanic journey by this dry creek bed. And I have been working with spirit guides at that point for 17 years. I had been an active journeyer for a really long time, but never really worked with the angels. It was never, not that I was against working with the angels. They just really never came into my consciousness and never came into my energetic field. So we were drumming and this massive angel came to me and he said he was Archangel Metatron. Or maybe he told me later it was Metatron, but it was Metatron. And a little intimidating and a little scary. And at the time, I was not running any groups. I had been working with people individually for many, many years, supporting people through trauma and limited mindset. I'm a trained hypnotherapist and a shamanic practitioner and a past life regression therapist. And I've been working with people very deeply for a really long time, but never branched out into groups. So he said to me, I'm paraphrasing, there is something big coming in the collective that's going to affect the entire world. And it's going to be the time of the spiritual warrior. Spiritual warriors are going to be needing to be called upon for this time. And I'm asking you to create groups, call in the other spiritual warriors that are going to help navigate this time. So that's basically the message that I heard. Now, I was terrified of doing groups. I didn't even know what that meant. What does it mean to be a spiritual warrior? I know I have a warrior's heart. I've had warrior energy. I've been through a lot in my life as a little girl. So I knew I had that. Like I knew I could overcome things like that. I knew. So what I decided to do was listen, take action, and not let that message just pass me by or let that message, say, you know what? Maybe I just made that up. Did an angel really come to me? Like, did that really happen? And here's the thing. Whether Archangel Metatron actually came to me in body, in spirit, does it really matter? There was a part of me, there was something in me, whether it was a projection of myself, whether it was a projection of God, that gave me a message that something big was coming and we need more boots on the ground, training women and men to support other women and men, to get men and women out of their victim states, out of their programming, to support their families, to support themselves, to usher in what was coming in and what was new. So whether or not, like, my ego likes the fact that maybe Metatron came to see me, it doesn't really matter. What matters was the message, and the message was right on. because that March is when everything got shut down and the world got turned upside down. And honestly, we are not over it. We are still in it. We are in it freaking thick. Just because we're not in a shutdown anymore, just because we're not masked anymore, the fallout from COVID is going to last years. Years. Okay, so the time of the spiritual warrior is literally just beginning. COVID was the kickoff. Now we're in it. Now we're in it. It's not a one-off. It's not a, you know what? I took a journey class, took a meditation class, I did some online things, and I'm good to go. Let me go back to my life. Let me go back to drifting. It's not about that. It's not about that. So whether my ego whether or not an actual angel came to me, it doesn't matter. I decided to hear the message. And so what I did, like a warrior, like a badass, I started taking leadership courses, learning how to lead, learning how to get over my fear of public speaking, started coaching leadership, took leadership courses, then started coaching large groups of people to support them in activating their leadership so that I could feel actually comfortable in creating groups, leading groups, and creating it as a business, as an exchange. So I did the training. That's what a warrior does. A warrior does the training. And here's another thing. A warrior listens. A warrior listens. You know how many, I'm going to come back to the principles of warriorship in just 1 minute, but I want to know, just those of you that are watching now and those of you that are going to watch the replay, and I've done this too, how many times have you heard a divine message, whether it was coming from within or from an outside entity or an outside energy, and you ignored it because one, you didn't believe it, because, oh God, I probably made that up, or you had too much self-doubt going on at the time, or there's too much fear and excuses around the message, like, oh, that's not the right time, or oh, I don't want to do that. Sounds like it's going to be really overwhelming, or maybe that's not. How many times have you done that when you have gotten an intuitive hit strong and then ignored it or made an excuse up around it? For me personally, I've done it countless times and I've seen it every day. Like, I talk to so many people every day, and I watch people make excuses around their mission, their vision every single day. Every single day. And so this warrior message that came through from Archangel Metatron, it felt too important for me to ignore it. I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll do what it takes. I'll do what it takes. And it's been uncomfortable, and it's still uncomfortable. And so where we are is in the time of the spiritual warrior. There is no doubt. This is not about political this, political that. This is much a bigger game that we're in. You can go on Facebook. You can go on, I was at the car wash yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. And they had Fox News playing. I don't watch the news. It gives me like anxiety, but it was playing. I live in a very conservative area. So it depends, right? Like if I was at a car wash in San Francisco where I used to live, CNN would have been playing. But I live in a very conservative area. So Fox News was playing. It's fascinating, right? And I'm just listening. I was like, okay, I'm going to sit here and listen to this and see what comes up. And it's fascinating what's being pumped out. So that stuff is the baseline, right? Like the politics, the division, the wokeness, the not wokeness, that I believe this, I don't believe. That's here. That's here. That's what's keeping us at odds. The bigger game is up here. And I'll talk about what here is in a minute. The spiritual warrior game is up here. Higher. It's a higher game. And to get to that higher game, which I'm going to describe what that higher game is here in a minute, to get to that higher game, you got to get past this level down here. And in this level down here, where we're in like this odds, is where we also are at odds with ourselves. So any political odds we're in, or any other Facebook bullshit odds we're in, right? Social media, you know what I'm talking about. It's all a reflection and from what's going on in here, because we're up against our own programming. Our own programming from childhood, from our parents, from teachers, from the media, from all of it. And so to get up here in this game, which I'll describe in a second, is we've got to sift through all of this and really strip away what's getting in the way of your authentic power and your authentic relationship to the divine source and the divinity within. And it's when we stay here, which I'm seeing all the time. I get caught in that trap too. Trust me. I get caught in that trap too, because I hear things that I want to scream. I want to be like, oh my God. Like, but that's not going to help anything. It's not going to help me. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help them. It's going to keep me in this. And then what? Then what? Then I'm not up here. So let's talk about this game up here. The spiritual warrior game is up here. And the work to get there is about transformation. It's about releasing your programming. It's about getting out of your own way. It's about stepping into courage, getting out of victim mindset, getting out of the drift of life, coming back home to yourself, to what's real. And this game up here is an elevated game. It's above the riffraff. It's above the trappings. It's not about perfection. No. That's not what it's about. This is not about perfection. No. This is about the journey to get to this higher game. This game within and the game without. So that you know who you are at any given moment. And if you start to slip down into the trappings of here, you're like, wait, shit. Nope. I'm going to get back up. You know how to get back up because you've done the work to get back up. So this is an elevated game. This is a game where you know yourself. You are clear. You are living in clarity of mind, clarity of intuition. You don't have to get into the trappings of, let's just call it the matrix, because that's what people call it. You don't have to get trapped. You don't get trapped there. You ascend up. You ascend up into these higher states of being as a human being on the planet, living with courage, responsibility, intuition, connection, trust, love. I'm reading this book right now called Outwitting the Devil. And it talks, it's written in 1938, and they talk about how we stay trapped and how the devil, whatever you want to call it, these lower states of consciousness, these dense states of consciousnesses, poverty consciousness, ill health consciousness, fear consciousness, these all are consciousnesses that are brewing right here, ready to trap you in, ready to keep you small. Where a spiritual warrior realizes that, recognizes it, and is not afraid to look at the truth, is not afraid to look at the truth of who they are, the truth of the reality that's been created, the truth of their own perceptions, the truth of their own projections onto other people, and are willing to look at it. Even if they're scared shitless, they're going to look at it. Someone who is not acting in the warrior heart is someone who's staying back, judging, criticizing, assessing, staying in fear, not taking chances, not going for things, staying small, taking on other people's projections of them from childhood. Right now, the game that was this opportunity that we had given to us during COVID is we are not out of it now, but there was a massive, massive opportunity. And the opportunity was to get out of our own way and really elevate into these higher states of consciousness. And where the warrior piece comes in, because we are still in bodies, we're still a human being, whether you like it or not, we're here. We chose to be here, actively chose to be here. I chose to be here, you chose to be here. And people are opting out of here every day. Every day. They are saying, I'm out. I'm out. People are dying. And that's okay. The game's high. The stakes are high. The vibrations are high. The timelines are shifting constantly. There is a spiritual war happening. It is happening in the seen and in the unseen. And where the spiritual warrior comes in, where you come in, where I come in, is boots on the ground. Like really boots on the ground, embodied beings being the best that we can be at any given moment, because we're working through our programming, we're working through our limitations, and we're moving past the lower density frequencies and up. And if we slip back down, we have understanding, we have love for ourselves, and we just do the next thing to go back up. It really is going to get thicker out there. And it's not like a fear thing. We're just in it right now until probably 2030. So the more that you can be in that warrior energy, that fire energy, being able to hold in action, not holding up in your house and not, checking out with Netflix. That's okay to do once in a while. This is about a lifestyle change. This is about a shift in energy. This is about your soul. And what we do right now travels with us into the next. There is, every day I hear, well, maybe I can do it tomorrow. What are you going to do tomorrow that you can't do today? Well, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I'm too busy. I get all that. Like I get all that. And the stakes are high. And a warrior figures it out. Figures out what it takes to get out of the lower consciousnesses of ways of being. Because once you do that, a warrior has a heart of service. It's like that. Well, I never saw Braveheart, but that service heart of service. And once you move through, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but once you begin to move through your shadow projections and your fears, and you begin to become a self-cleaning oven and really begin to know yourself and know your power, then you're able to truly show up in service and be generous and move to that next level. Even if it being of service to your family doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're out doing a business in that way, but being generous to yourself, your family, to your fellow employers, employees. And those of us that are parents, the stakes are even higher because there's these generational lines. And imagine if you were stepping into the warrior frequency, which you have in you, of higher consciousnesses of courage, responsibility, intuition, love, connection to the divine, knowing thyself, releasing generations of trauma and toxic thinking and toxic ways of being. Every single line has something. It may not be as intense as alcoholism, but maybe in your line there is some like a scarcity thinking that no matter what, there's never going to be enough. Maybe your parents went through the depression. Like there's never going to be enough. That thinking. Every single generational line has something, some more thick than others. So imagine if it stopped with you. And when it stops with you, then it's like, your kids are like, wait, mom or dad, they're no longer, wait, hold on. Something's changed here. Something has shifted here. Huh, interesting. I don't feel it anymore. And they're not able to grasp, you know what I mean? But if you were activating the energy, I have a worry. I have worry. I know it's in my line. I didn't know my mom, but I've done past life regression work to my womb. She left when I was 3, but in my womb, and when I was in her womb, I could hear her worrying and just like in so much fear. So that worry imprint, that fear imprint, it got imprinted on me in when I was in her womb. It was deep, like super deep. So I know it's in the line. And I've seen it play out in my daughter, even though I've done all the work, I've done all this work. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Like, right, we have to keep doing it because we're human beings. We haven't elevated yet. We are elevating now. We're in a fight for our consciousness. This is a fight for our consciousness. And warriors are like, you know what? Mm-mm. So I notice it in her and we talk about it. And then I get to clear and I get to watch and I get to be mindful because she does not get to have the worry gene anymore. Like the buck stops with me. The fear stops with me. So the question is, are you ready to start listening, start taking action? Because we go through these phases where we can get really like, oh my gosh, COVID's hit. I got to do something. I got to grow. I gotta, right? And then, oh, wait, the world's working again. It's okay. And then we go back into the drift. The warriors stay the course. We stay the course. We stay the course. And the course, and what I've seen is that that's where the magic happens. It's when you don't let your foot off the gas. And if you haven't started yet, releasing and doing the work, start now. Start now. It's never, ever too late. You're never too old. You're never too young because you have the heart of a warrior and you're intuitive and you're powerful and you get to feel that feeling in this lifetime and beyond. Because what we do here matters in the beyond. Huge. This is a blip on your timeline. I mean, a blip. But imagine if this blip, you have elevated your consciousness. And the thing is with the warrior, it's not just pie in the sky consciousness. This is real boots on the ground, shifting real energy, shifting really consciousness of yourself so that you can begin to see clearly and feel that joy and feel lit up, feel courageous, feel your creative energy moving through you. Every person who does that, it raises the vibration of the planet. And everyone has a higher, bigger chance. Your family, you, your partner, your neighbors. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you there. I hope this was helpful. And we're in this together. We're in this together, this human game that we're in. And you get to elevate the game. You get to elevate the game. And right now we are currently enrolling for our 7-month Spiritual Warrior program. It's a training of all the things I was just talking about. It starts March 21st. It's on Tuesdays. If you're interested in learning more about it, then put a comment in the comment section or send me a message at beth@bethosmer.com. My information is here on the YouTube page, and we would love to have you, especially if you are ready, really ready to take your life to the next level. Like no more messing around. You get to stand for yourself. And I'll be with you every step of the way. All right. Have an amazing, wonderful day. I will be back here next Tuesday on YouTube, and I will see you next time.